Welcome to the last lesson on the types of matrices. In this lesson, we will cover the diagonal matrix, the identity matrix and the scalar matrix. Before we begin to look at what a diagonal matrix is, we need to understand how to recognize diagonal and non-diagonal elements. Look at the square matrix A. If you draw a line starting from this corner to this corner, that is the diagonal, and all the elements on it are called diagonal entries. The remaining are called non-diagonal entries. Now that you are familiar with diagonal and non-diagonal elements, let's look at what makes a matrix a diagonal matrix. A diagonal matrix is a square matrix that fills these two conditions, which are: number 1, all non-diagonal entries have to be 0. Number 2, at least one of the diagonal entries has to be non-zero, because if they all are zeros, then it will just become a null matrix. So A, B and C are diagonal matrices. Look at these two new square matrices beside me. Both have non-zero elements in the diagonal while the others are 0. So these matrices are diagonal matrices too. Now let's look at a special type of a diagonal matrix called the identity matrix or the unit matrix. Here all the non-diagonal entries are still 0. The only difference is that all the diagonal entries should be 1 only. Like the null matrix, this matrix also has a special notation, I. So if you ever see a matrix called I, you can be sure that it is an identity matrix with ones in the diagonal entries. Look at these. All of these are identity matrices with different orders: 3 by 3, 2 by 2, and this is of 1 by 1. There is one more kind of diagonal matrix, that is the scalar matrix. All the non-diagonal entries are again 0 here, but all the diagonal entries should be the same, from the top left corner to the bottom right, same. If it is 2, then all of them should be 2. The diagonals can all be 3 or 5, such as the ones on your screen. Any number, but not 1 or 0. All ones make it an identity matrix, while all zeros make it a null matrix. That's it. But before we end this session, there is something important that should be highlighted. I have conveniently written it on a note card for you. See, scalar and identity matrices are types of a diagonal matrix. So every scalar and identity matrix is also a diagonal matrix at the same time. However, the vice versa isn't true. We have covered all the different types of matrices you need to know for your upcoming lessons. Make sure to understand them thoroughly, as these terms will come up frequently in the next lessons.